This is Christopher and Katherine Tipper, your favorite 401 couple.
That's us.
And today we're doing something special. It is
Very
different.
special.
We've already done some different things, right? So instead of interviewing an outside guest, we are bringing on two members of our own Hunter Benefits team, Robin and Kalin.
Greetings and salutations. Very happy to have you here.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
These two are on the front lines of sales and business development every day. And if there's one thing they know better than anyone, it's how relationships drive success in the retirement plan industry. Today's episode is all about relationships, how to build them, how to survive them, how to keep them strong. I threw in my own thing there, Christopher. And why they matter so much when you're working with business owners, advisors, and partners. Every episode, the guests get to pick a special treat, and Kalin and Robin picked mimosas. So here they are.
Kalin, see if you can make this a funny one.
So I was going to ask you guys why you picked mimosas, and I thought it would be because they were simple, but now we know that mimosas can be complex.
Mimosas can be complex.
Thank you.
Mimosas can break things. Thank you.
Pro tip is you don't do the thing they do in Formula One podiums where they shake the bottle before they.
No way.
So anyway, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Cheers.
Wait.
Basically, it seemed to be the most appropriate drink.
It is pretty early.
Okay. So to the questions. So Robin and Kalin, how long have you worked here?
I have been with Hunter Benefits for a little bit over 4 years now.
And I've been with Hunter Benefits for a little over 4 months now.
And then, Robin, how long have you been in the industry?
More years than I want to say, but over 30.
But it's not exponential yet. And Kalin, how long have you been in the industry?
I've been in the industry for as many months as I've worked here.
Over
So
4 months?
over 4 months.
Yeah, thought we'd get that out there.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So Robin, what position do you work in?
I work in the sales and business development.
Yep, you pick up the phone.
I
And
pick
what
up-
do you?
I also work in the sales and business development. I didn't know we had business development too at the end.
Yes.
I feel way more important now.
Business development is way more classier than sales, even though it's exactly the same thing.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And that's why we bring you here is to put it on camera so that you know what you're doing, right?
So part of this is to a little be a visual and audio introduction to our fans and family. Or is it family first and fans? No, I think we actually have more fans watching these things than family now.
We have more than your mom watching the videos.
It used to be just mom, and now it's more people, so that's good. I'm going to go with Kalin first. What's your background, and how did you accidentally end up here?
Accidentally is an interesting way to put it. So my background's in political communications and media and nonprofit work. And I did that for about 20 years. And I happen to know someone that knows all of you, and they just made a happy introduction. And here we are all these months later.
I know. You did ask some of the best questions I've ever been asked during
I think
the
I
interview process.
Cop that up to working with journalists for such a long time and being peppered with like the most difficult questions imaginable.
It was very, very good. And then Robin, do we have a background?
How I ended well, I've been in the industry for quite some time.
How did you end up in the industry?
How did I end up because I was a math major.
Oh.
And
so almost
back in the day, all math people ended up in insurance companies and banking. So from there, my intro into the retirement plan industry.
And then how did you end up here?
Well, do I be honest? I was invited for beers on their patio to offer me a job, to discuss a job.
We're staying on brand.
No. I think it was much shorter than that. You showed up. We were having beers outside. I started off with, "So when do you start working for us?" What?
And there you go.
There we go. Right.
Okay, so fun things on the lightning round. So, what's your to-go coffee drink when you're working with clients? Do you have a drink?
It depends. If it's a cocktail social time, then it might be red wine. If it's coffee, it's usually just the Starbucks that are at the conferences. And I drink it black.
Yeah. I don't drink coffee, so usually it would be tea if it's.
You're
I know.
Yeah,
I thought you liked tea, so I don't know why I'm a disappointment.
Coffee part for the
coffee's too bitter.
Background.
Coffee's too bitter for me. Yeah, I know. I'm being disingenuous to my people. So tea, or I would say, red wine. When Rob and I have been at networking events, we've both been drinking red wine.
Red wine.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Robin, what's the best piece of career advice you've ever received?
Other than coming to work here.
Christopher, just let her answer.
Well, I'm, making
Let
it
her
easy for her.
stop.
To listen to what people want and need, and to answer the phone, and to just be present. So
It's funny how answering the phone can turn into a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So Kalin, what's the best piece of career advice you've ever received?
I had a mentor tell me after a meeting that we were in that somebody else ran that went really poorly, that no one's going to remember what you said, but they're going to remember how you make them feel. So you just want to make people feel good. You want to make them feel like they want to work with you, that you know you're talking about, you're competent, reassure them. And I think about that a lot.
Yep.
Especially in this, because I'm so new.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, it's okay for people to know that I'm new, but I want them to feel like they're talking to somebody that's competent. So I just remember that I can always ask everybody else answers to questions I have and go with that.
Yep.
Excellent way to do it. So, Robin, if sales had a superpower, what would yours be?
I would say mine is for listening. I listen to what their needs are. I listen to the questions that they're asking, and I try to come up with a solution for where they are.
Okay.
So listening. What superpower?
I think mine would be the opposite. Like my third grade teacher said, I got the gift of gab. So I think it would be that I can talk to pretty much anybody, anywhere. But also, if you just talk, you don't get much information. So you do have to be able to listen too. But yeah, I sure can talk.
Caitlin, how do you and I actually have a conversation?
I listen. That's how we have a
happens.
conversation. I really try to listen.
All right. Favorite place to travel to or recharge outside of work?
Is this for travel, or is this like
Either.
every day?
Yeah,
Okay, for every day, I would be in a pool doing water aerobics and swimming.
I was guessing volleyball. All right, I got that one
and
wrong.
volleyball.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my two activities. And then if it's on vacation, I would say probably Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
I accepted my job while I was in a casino.
This job?
Yes.
That's really cool.
Really? Okay. I thought
we talked, Katherine and I talked
Oh,
on the
that's
phone.
right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you didn't say yes on the patio. All right. Kaylin,
Favorite place to recharge?
or travel?
Or travel. I was recently in San Francisco last month, and I really, really loved it. So San Francisco was really fun. But like locally, things that I do to recharge would be like go to the Green Mill or like the opera. I just really like to go see like live music, but usually like jazz or blues or classical music.
And West Coast, not East. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was just going to spend so much time on the East Coast. I'm kind of over it right now.
Okay. All right. Katherine, you've got the serious questions.
I think what we're here to talk about is relationship building in general, right? Because that's such a core component of sales. So, so where were you 5 years ago, and how does that affect your work now? So, Robin, that is true. 5 years ago, you were somewhere else. And how does that affect your work now?
Well, now I'm working with advisors and wholesalers and other people in the industry. Prior to my last job, I was selling software services for retirement plans. So I've always been in the retirement industry, but I did the customer support and then I switched over to sales.
Do the relationships feel different between those two groups or no?
Yes, there is a difference between the needs of the different players, and the people don't need software to sell retirement. I mean, they do to administer retirement plans.
Well, Kalin, so what were you doing 5 years ago, and how does it affect your work now?
Okay, 5 years ago, I was working for a nonprofit. I was like a national organizer working with moms on environmental issues. And
is that an acronym or the actual mothers?
There was a group it was a mothers-based group.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the name, but it was a mothers-based group. And it was really like, as an organizer, it was really relational. It was all about building up relationships with moms in different states and figuring out like what they wanted and how they could work together and collaborate. So it was like everything was about building relationships. So I find it to be really relevant to what we're doing here because this business is all about relationships.
Oh.
I like the next question. I'm going to ask it. Okay.
Okay,
this is a really good one. How do you guys look at the industry differently? Okay. So, Robin?
From each other. Yeah.
From each other.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot.
Really?
We talk every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in this industry for many, many years, and a lot of
You won't
times
say
that
the
I
number.
no. Well, if I
We should have that be a raffle.
You know what
for
it's-
somebody to guess the
I could
right
tell
number.
you.
of years
I could
now.
tell you.
She could go look at LinkedIn.
43 years.
Holy crap!
43, almost 44. Almost 44.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not as old as Arissa.
Right. Yeah.
You've been doing it a while.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
been. I
Okay.
have been.
All right.
So I look at it with experience, and I try to give Kalin the background that made it to the point where we are now with the whole history of retirement plans. So.
And I look at it as a very confusing, interesting space. I all the technical stuff I just learned from Robin, but I think I have like a slightly different perspective being younger and being completely brand new to this industry.
When Robin and I started, there was no YouTube. Al Gore hadn't invented the internet yet. And the height of sophistication was a fax machine.
Right.
Right. Okay. And now, so we've got a very different.
The tools are different.
The tools are very different, and I think it affects how the relationships are, because Kalen's being tasked with develop 99.9% of her relationships through Zoom or Teams,
Right.
and Robin was always face to face.
And right.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've actually I enjoy that aspect. I've been working remotely since 2013. So I've been working and developing way before Zoom was a thing, way before COVID. A lot of my jobs were all remote. So I've had to do that relationship building over Zoom. And I think you have to be really intentional with it if you're going to actually build a relationship with somebody you're not going to be face to face with.
Okay. Do you think you have differing or similar views on topics, or is everything different?
I think a lot of times we have similar views on things. We do end up finding the same things frustrating or the same things helpful. But Robin just has so much more experience. So just a bigger depth of knowledge when we're talking about.
So to help Kalin, so Kalen's very comfortable with the digital element of the introductions, Robin. But so how long, and I know we started in simpler times when it comes to Arissa, how long were you in the industry before you felt comfortable and it wasn't just a massive confusing mess?
Oh, well, it was different because we didn't even I wasn't even working with 401k plans when I first started. So
I know.
We're just profit sharing and defined benefit plans.
I know. So. DB plans were supposed to be easier than 401k plans once upon a time.
Right, right.
So, but you get there eventually, right?
Right.
All right.
Well, good to know there's a learning curve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I think there's more complexity over the years too, right? Because what 401k plans are, it keeps getting more complex.
Mm-hmm.
It just does.
Robin never expected Secure 3.0.
Wow.
Which is
I thought we only had Secure 2.0.
It's coming, lady.
There's always a sequel.
More changes.
And the sequels aren't always the best, right? We're getting Jaws 3.0, right?
Okay. All right, next question, dear.
How do you both feel and take turns on this, how do you build trust in an industry full of compliance, acronyms, and complexity? I mean, we really do speak a different language.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm also used to being in a business that has nothing but acronyms and complex policy stuff. But anytime I'm in any of these kinds of spaces, the one thing I always make sure that I do is don't pretend like I know more than I know. And I think that builds trust. Personally being new, telling people I'm new. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't think I'd know at this point that I do already know. And Robin tries to remind me all the time that I actually do know a lot because I
do know.
Yeah, but there's 10 times more that I don't. And so I think just letting people know we here at Hunter Benefits know a lot. It doesn't mean that I know all of it, but I'll get you the right answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's almost a little bit like Don Quixote. You're always going after the answers, and even the people who have 40 years worth of experience still run up against things that
we got windmills. What?
We definitely have windmills. Okay. Well, how would Robin answer that? How do you build trust in an industry full of acronyms, compliance, and complexity?
Well, just try to make it simple and easy to understand, and just try to explain it so that people can grasp what's going on.
Try to relate to what's going on in their business, to what's going on with the plan and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this section, finally, what mistakes do people make when trying to sell 401k plans, you think, Robin?
Now remember, we have unlimited tape. We can go for
And we have more mimosas.
and we're not done with the booze.
Not finding out what clients really need and just trying to put it into a cookie cutter that this is what it is. This is how we're going to do it. No, there's options, there's changes, there's things that can make their plan better, and understanding what their needs are is important.
Kalin?
That's a great question. I think the really hard sell is not as successful here. I think you have to like focus on those relationships. And like Robin said, understanding what people want. Someone might come to you and say, I want this kind of a plan. But once you like dig in a little more, you realize it's not the most effective thing for them. So just being honest and telling them like what's going to give them this like bang for their buck, and what's going to be the smartest way for them and their company. That seems to be so far, that's what I've seen work. Yeah.
Okay, Christopher, you want to bring it home?
Okay. Well, yeah, we got a couple more. How do Robin and Kalin see relationship building and evolving in the retirement industry? We got post-COVID, tech, younger business owners, COVID, private equity, fintech, a whole shot here.
It's just crazy.
Let's not do the private equity bit.
No, I mean, well, no, there's just so much going on. It's not, well, it's a boring and staid industry, isn't it? No,
not at all, actually. Which is how I would have probably thought of it before I started here. I would have been like, okay, like 401k is like, meh. But honestly, I hadn't really like given it a lot of thought. But now that I'm in it, it's so interesting because it does remind me so much of like my work in other ways because it's so complicated. And we were just talking this morning, we had something come in and Robin was like, you always have these really complicated situations come in for clients. And I do. Robin gets like the easy, straightforward ones. I get the ones that are like really...
I just make them seem easy.
No.
That must actually be what it is. Sorry. I didn't mean to like diss you like that. I would never.
Well, you didn't want to talk about fintech, but I think
I didn't say... Okay,
well, talking about relationships, that's always the big question in fintech, as it sounds like it's stripped relationships from the industry, right? That it ends up being just totally a product. And it's just really interesting to talk to the sales folks who say, wow, relationships are so important. And people show up with questions and answers and things that they're not in the right place yet. And they need a person to help them get there. And so, there's this idea that fintech is just going to be smooth and slick and make it all work.
Yeah.
And so much of what you're really doing is.
I can turn that into a question just for Kalin. Sorry, because it's a different stage of business careers. Okay. So Kalin, despite the fact that fintech and AI and Zoom and Teams and all that, how or why, because I'm presuming you do you feel confident that you're going to be able to create relationships in this digital world?
I think having the experience of creating relationships digitally and maintaining those before, I think I can use that. Also, the sense that I've gotten when I've been at events in person and meeting other people in the industry is post-COVID, people really do want to be in person again. They miss that connection. And it's like some things are coming back. It seems like some things maybe haven't come back from COVID, but I feel like people are craving that sense of kind of community almost again, of like seeing each other, catching up with each other, knowing what's going on with each other, like, and what's new with your business. So that does seem to be something that people are yearning for.
So I think the commonality is that for both of you, different stages of the career, came into it a very different regulatory environment, is that despite all that stuff, relationships are still important to develop regardless of how you do it and regardless of the industry you're in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
What advice would you give a brand new business development person in this industry?
That's a you question. You're the one who's been doing this for long enough.
I don't know. I think it's aimed at both of you.
Well, at this point, for a new person, I've been working with Kalin for 4+ months now. And the advice that I give her is just to learn, pay attention, find out what their real questions are.
I mean, and my advice would be just ask Robin. You don't know how to do something, ask
Sales
Robin.
at hunterbenefits.com.
Right. Just ask Robin. She'll answer the email. All right. Right. So I guess they get to ask questions of us.
I think we should.
All right.
Questions you want to ask us?
I didn't think about that. Oh man, we should have. Can we confer?
Yes, of course. Phone a friend.
I guess I'd be curious to know, like, I would say, like, what made you want to bring on Robin, but like either one of us, like when you were like, okay, these people, like what made us fit into, Hunter benefits.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah.
I think, well, Robin just knew the industry, right? So, you came in understanding the lay of the land, and that was very useful. And I would say that other attempts that we had at salespeople, they just didn't have those chops, right? They just didn't know how that part worked.
Robin and I share a prior employer. It can be found on LinkedIn. Okay.
No state secrets revealed.
And I had been a client I had been an employee and then a client. And then Robin had the misfortune of being assigned to our account for certain questions. And so basically all of my calls to Robin were annoying, difficult, and costing her money. But
costing her money?
You were taking away sales. We were turning off licenses.
Okay.
I would only call Robin to turn off a license. Okay. I was the business killer. So, but I always appreciated how she talked, how she dealt with me being difficult. And I think, hell, everybody else has got to be a lot easier than me. And she just seemed to have a certain knowledge and calmness opposite of me. And that I was kind of guessing she might be looking for an opportunity.
And there you go.
There we go.
That's how I ended up here.
Yeah, and I bribed you with a beer. So
I bribed you with a beer.
And Kalin's going, I didn't get any alcohol, I think, right? Or did you?
Nope, actually not once.
No,
wow.
We went to Italy. We got like...
she's about the food, though.
I'm really actually not.
They and then for Kalin, it was the recommendation from the co-friend, the joint, the shared friend, the person in between.
We're both friends with the same person.
I will eventually say it properly. So, and a lot of it was eager. Your supposed ability to energizes you.
Still?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
No, this is back then.
Okay.
Energizes you, and with what you'd done in the past, and again, the level of the questions that you asked, like, oh, somebody Google's good. So I thought it was worth a flyer.
Well, I mean, a lot of people start in this industry where they don't really know much about it, but it's their both in intelligence and just kind of passion is just a basic person, right? And so you do well in this industry if you're like, I'm curious, how does this work? Why does this work that way? If you're just a very passive person, it's hard to succeed, especially in this. So I think you were just basically off the charts in terms of, I'm interested and I want to do something. So any other questions?
Come on, keep them going.
What made you guys want to start doing this podcast? Do you ever talk about that?
No,
Okay, I have the answer to that if you don't remember. Well, it was just...
Zach told us to.
No.
I view it. No.
Well, I mean, we need...
From my share, Zach told me to. So, all right, Catherine's is different.
Zach doesn't sign the checks, though, so it's up to you.
No, but we hired Zach to tell me what to do. So
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Well, I'm glad to know it's that easy to get you to do things. But
Cameron, sure.
So what's funny is I was at a networking event and I was talking to someone who was in a different generation. And I told her, well, hey, we do videos and stuff like this. And she says, do you do a podcast? I said, no. And she says, if you did a podcast, I'd listen to it. And I'm just like, generational. Oh my God, we need to do this. And what I was a little confused about was that I always thought podcasts were not visual. They were just, it was just verbal, but apparently you do both. And so some of that, and, we're going to talk in a new podcast a little bit about this kind of the generational thing that, some people really do get their information from podcasts and they want to see, and
100%.
And in this case, it was a financial advisor and he was bringing in his daughter into the business. And I'm just kind of going, wait, if I want the next wave, I need to be doing this. So Christopher maybe might not have thought about it real deeply, but I was just like, we need to do a podcast.
Well, I tried doing videos on my own for educational. They were a disaster. Okay. We started doing On the Couch at the beginning of COVID, March of 2020. And it also did seem to be just the next progression.
Well, and the baseline on all of this, whether it's videos or podcasts, is we have what looks like a kind of boring, boring industry, right? And everybody wants it to be very simple, and it's not. And when I network, if I say I do 401k compliance, everybody's eyes glaze over. You can make it sound as sexy as you want to. Nobody cares. Okay. But when you say I do a podcast, and this is what we do, I have a podcast, our guests get to choose the treat, all of those things sound much more interesting, and it allows a better quality conversation than just straight. We can rock your 401k plans. And even we can rock your 401k plans sounds so much more fun than, we'll do
And
your.
here's my podcast.
I mean, like when you network, you could say what you do. And it's like, oh, well, we make sure all the money goes into the accounts, and we do the 5,500 and we do the loans and distributions. And everybody's just like, they're bored.
Yeah.
And they go, why would you do them any better? And then they'll ask you the follow-up question, how do you do loans and distributions better? And you just kind of go, you're supposed to do them competently. Do you know what I mean? The whole idea that I can do an extra special loan on distribution, it's not supposed to be off the charts creativity, right? So under this basic thing of you need to build relationships, you need to go, nobody knows to look up now we call ourselves retirement plan consultants, but nobody looks that up in the phone book and looks for us, right? So it really is like the relationships are like, we're here, this is what we do. It's a type of consulting, and consulting is about relationships. Mm-hmm. That's how people find out it's more than just a product.
Yep. One more.
Where is your favorite place to travel to?
Oh,
is there one place for both of you that you both like the most?
Well, I mean, it's always going to be Paris, right? Well, not Paris, France, right? Yeah. And a small town with a great bakery and great.
Oh, sign me up.
A great, great history.
Well,
and so, I mean, it's like still just wonderful memories of, being in sun-soaked southern France. And,
I don't know, but for us for this year, we're in Brittany for the first time. And I'm wandering around this little seaside town, and I'm going, oh my God, I have found the town I've been looking for my whole life, but didn't know it. So somewhere in Brittany.
And just, people were happy shopping.
Oysters on.
They have bread that the government says, like, you get this bread every day. I would also be very happy if the government gave me bread every day.
The seaside wine and oysters, we could do that. That was very
cool. Bread and wine is not very expensive. So you're sitting on the side in a sunny area, and you're watching people go by, and it much more a cafe lifestyle.
Because the thing is, that's
very relaxing.
If you're not in Paris, it's actually it's not expensive. It's really inexpensive, actually. So it's very cool.
And I have my new retirement plan.
There you go. Start saving now.
Yeah.
So Kalin and I are doing a podcast called Planarchy. And it's meant to be kind of like looking at things differently, being a little disruptive, looking, if the industry always looks like a tall person in a suit telling you about what you should be doing, this is kind of a little bit of a different look. So
is it always going to be a risk stuff, or is it just?
I think it's going to be not as much Arisa stuff.
It's going to be
if I had to take a little educated guess.
On the scale. Less Arisa.
There's going to be a little bit about generational viewpoints on things, a little bit about, what should you be jumping in on right away? And like, I was even looking a little bit, like we talk about 401ks to death here. Well, if you need to really have a lifetime of savings when you're young, you're probably going to do an IRA right away. You might not have it. So there's just to make it a broader topic than just straight 401ks rock, which they do, but there's a broader thing, and broader in terms of generational. So
very cool.
So if you have questions, comments, thoughts, things you specifically want Christopher to answer, we do have an email, sales@hunterbenefits.com. Make comments, forward to your favorite or even non-favorite people our video. Just
if you hear so much from people, but they don't comment, they don't like. So help us with the comments and the likes. It helps the algorithm. All right, we're all slaves to it. Thank you for joining the 401 Couple. This has been a very big treat.
Yep.
All right,
thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Toodaloo.